Very good evening and welcome to the news at 6. Here are the headlines of this hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicates the All India Institute of Ayurveda to the country, Apex Institute, to bring synergy between the traditional wisdom of Ayurveda and modern diagnostic tools and technology. Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu says India will continue experiencing steady growth, calling demonetization and the goods and services tax monumental efforts. He urges industry associations to boost Make in India and Digital India programs. Finance Minister Arun Shourie launches gold options trading on leading commodity bourse MCX, calls it one of the steps towards formalizing trade in yellow metal. And 32 people, including women, students and police, are killed and over 200 injured in a suicide and gun attack on police in the East Afghan city of Gardez. Attack targeted police training center in the capital of Pakistan province. Top story this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the All India Institute of Ayurveda in New Delhi on Tuesday. Built along the lines of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, the institution is expected to bring synergy between the traditional wisdom of Ayurveda and modern diagnostic tools and technology. Here are more details.
On National Ayurveda Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated the All India Institute of Ayurveda to the country. Underscoring the importance of Ayurveda in our lives, the Prime Minister called for a revival of the sector. He said the time has come for a health revolution assisted by traditional medicine system.
दुनिया अब सिर्फ हेल्दी रहना ही चाहती है, ऐसा नहीं है. अब उसे वेलनेस चाहिए. ये चीज उसे आयुर्वेद और योग से मिल सकती है. आज विश्व के सभी देशों में बैक टू बेसिक, बैक टू नेचर, यानी पुनः प्रकृति की ओर ये भाव प्रबल होता जा रहा है. उसके तरफ लोगों का झुकाव बढ़ता जा रहा है.
Calling for more investment in the sector, the Prime Minister urged the private players to contribute towards the development of yoga and Ayurveda by contributing portions of their CSR funds.
इस सेक्टर को विकास और विस्तार के लिए अभी काफी निवेश की आवश्यकता है. सरकार ने हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम में 100% फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट एफडीआई को स्वीकृति दे दी है. हेल्थ केयर में एफडीआई का फायदा आयुर्वेद और योग को कैसे मिले, इस बारे में भी प्रयास किए जाने चाहिए. मैं देश की तमाम कंपनियों और प्राइवेट सेक्टर से भी आग्रह करूंगा कि जिस तरह वो एलोपैथिक बेड बड़े बड़े अस्पतालों के लिए आगे आते हैं, वैसे ही योग और आयुर्वेद के लिए भी आगे आना चाहिए.
Pitching for affordable healthcare, he said steps are being taken by his government to set up Ayurveda-related hospitals in each district of the country. The Prime Minister said revival of Ayurveda will help farmers to sow medicinal plants in their fields. This, he asserted, will help them boost their income in line with the government's plan to double their incomes by 2022. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu says that reformative measures like the introduction of GST will improve the economy in the long run. He also said that although there might be some teething problems in the initial implementation, but in the end, such reforms will benefit the consumers. The Vice President noted that the government is rightly focusing on generating employment and financial inclusion.
Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu inaugurated the 90th anniversary celebrations of the Andhra Chamber of Commerce in Chennai on Tuesday, stating that India will continue to see a steady growth. He asserted that various measures taken by the government to step up economic growth, including FDI in various sectors and strong macroeconomic fundamentals, will pay dividends to the country.
Industry has to be encouraged. Business has to be encouraged. If you want to really develop the country without industrial development, without business development. Your rupee cannot be strong. And you cannot be prosperous. And you cannot do social service without money.
Quoting the IMF chief on Indian economic growth, the Vice President described the two major reforms in India, demonetization and goods and services tax, as a monumental effort. He urged industry associations to supplement the government's efforts, bolster Make in India and Digital India programs.
And then you have now two path-breaking recent initiatives taken by the government. One is about the GST. It's a collective decision of all political parties across the country. I was there in Parliament at the time. I was Minister for Parliament Affairs for some time. Tried to mobilize the support. This way or that way, little later or beginning, every party said, we want GST. And GST has been approved upon. Any new legislation, there will be some problems. Any transformation, there will be some problems. And there are problems. How can anybody deny? And the debate is on. Let the debate go on.
The Vice President also highlighted a State Bank of India study that shows villages with bank accounts under Jan Dhan Yojana saved more and reduced their consumption of alcohol and tobacco. He asserted that community development programs must enable local communities to take up initiatives to reduce poverty, promote sanitation and hygienic practices, and create self-employment opportunities. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Vice President also inaugurated an exhibition of the life of Dr M Subalakshmin Chennai. He said that music acquired a divine dimension when the legendary Karnataka singer, the late M Subalakshmi, lent her voice to various compositions. He also said that music defines India's rich heritage and unifies people together, cutting across religion, region, caste and communities.
On the occasion of birth centenary year of Dr M Subalakshmi, Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu inaugurated an exhibition on her life in Chennai on Tuesday. The Vice President said she was a cult figure whose mellifluous voice mesmerized everyone, from Mahatma Gandhi to the common man.
She was a cult figure, household name, who has mesmerized everyone from Mahatma Gandhi to the common man. With her mellifluous voice, upon Gandhi's instance, she recorded his favorite Meera Bhajan, Haritum Haro, overnight and sent it to him on his birthday in 1947.
Dr M Subalakshmi was the first musician to be awarded the Bharat Ratna. She was also the first Indian musician to perform at the United Nations General Assembly and the first Indian musician to be conferred the Raymond Magsaysay Award for Public Service.
She was called Nightingale of India by Sarojini Naidu and Tapaswini by Lata Mangeshkar, while Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan described her as Suswara Lakshmi, Subbu Lakshmi.
Speaking on the occasion, the Vice President called India a land of rich cultural heritage with music in diverse genres. From the two main fountainheads of classical music, Carnatic and Hindustani, to a variety of folk music, including Sufi music, Qawwalis, Rabindra Sangeet and film music. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, the Vice President Venkaiah Naidu also rededicated Thakkar Bapa Vidyalaya in Chennai. He unveiled the plaque for Didi Nirmala Deshpande nilam, and the Vice President also announced his decision to contribute 5 lakh rupees from his salary to construct a girls' hostel to promote education prospects for girls.
Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu on Tuesday stressed on the importance of native languages. He urged people to learn as many languages as they wished, but without undermining their mother tongue.
Mother tongue, motherland should never be forgotten. Mother tongue and motherland should never be forgotten. If you forget this, then you are not a human being at all.
The Vice President unveiled the plaque for the Didi Nirmala Deshpande nilam on her birth anniversary. Didi Deshpande had taken part in the Bhudan movement and completed a 40,000-kilometer Padyatra to popularize the message of Mahatma Gandhi's Gram Swaraj. The Vice President remembered her as a true messenger of peace who strove for communal harmony.
She headed the organization till her last breath, was dedicated to Gandhian, who set an example of thousands of people not only in India, but all over the globe. She had participated in the Bhudan movement and undertook 40,000 kilometers Padayatra along the length and breadth of the country to popularize message of Mahatma Gandhi's Grama Swaraj. She was a true messenger of peace and also strove for communal harmony.
The Vice President also rededicated the Thakkar Bapa Vidyalaya, which was submerged under 8 feet of water in 2015 and was again damaged by the 2016 cyclone. He also felicitated awardees for restoring the institution.
I was quite distressed to know that Thakkar Bapa Vidyalaya was ravaged by floods and went under right 8 feet of water in 2015 and was again damaged by the cyclone in 2016. It is all the more saddening that 10,000 books of Gandhiji were destroyed in the floods. However, I am happy to know that following an appeal, several people have donated books on the father of the nation to the Vidyalaya. I am also happy to know that Vidyalaya's workshop and machinery have been renovated to the maximum extent.
The Thakkar Bapa Vidyalaya started as an industrial school for Harijan boys in 1935, but now admits students of all sections of society. The Vice President said such institutions have been doing great service and deserve a helping hand from philanthropists, corporates and other resource persons. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Finance Minister Arun Shourie launched gold options trading on the leading commodity bourse, Multi-Commodity Exchange or the MCX, on Dhanteras, calling it an important evolution in the trade of yellow metal itself. Calling it a great beginning as well, Shourie said that this was one of the steps towards formalizing gold trade. At present, MCX offers futures trade in gold and other commodities, although it says it will approach the regulator SEBI, seeking permission for other commodities like cotton, crude palm oil, silver and copper. Options are derivatives that give a buyer the right, but not the obligation to buy or sell an asset or instrument at a specific price on or before a certain date. Gold options contracts are available for trading from Tuesday, and investors can trade in 1 kilogram of gold. The contracts will expire in November and January 2018.
This marks a very important evolution in the trade of the yellow metal itself. It also learns to live with one great reality, that India and Indians have a great bond with the gold. We are great buyers of this product. And one of the efforts of the entire system has been consistently through policy formulation to formalize this trade also.
In other news, a Pakistani national was arrested from along the international border in Suchet Garden sector of Raspura in Jammu on Tuesday. The 22-year-old man crossed over to the Indian side in the wee hours. During questioning, he said that he was a tailor at Pasroor in Pakistan's Sialkot region. Pakistani notes were also recovered from him. The incident comes just weeks after the BSF troops scuttled a major infiltration bid by unearthing a 14-feet-long tunnel across the international border in Arnia sector. The tunnel was being dug from the Pakistani side. A US-made compass, 60 rounds of ammunition, a hand grenade and some other items, most of which carrying Pakistani markings, were seized from the tunnel. The Karnataka BJP has filed a complaint with the State Anti-Corruption Bureau against Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. BJP's OBC Morcha chief B.J. Puttaswamy accused the Chief Minister and senior government officials of illegally denotifying land, resulting in a loss of 300 crore rupees to the Bengaluru Development Authority. Puttaswamy had on the 10th of October alleged that Siddaramaiah was directly responsible for the denotification of the land at Bhupasandra, which is at Bangalore North Taluk. Meanwhile, Siddaramaiah denied any wrongdoing and accused BJP of making a false allegation. Here's a look at what else made news across the country today in Nationwide. YSR Congress Kurnool MP Butta Renuka joined the ruling Telugu Desam party in Vijayawada in the presence of Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu. TDP Supremo formally welcomed the Kurnool lawmaker and her followers into the party at his camp residence in Amravati. Renuka is the second YSRC MP to switch sides to the TDP after SPY Reddy of Nandyal. A major fire broke out at a chemical factory in Turbhe MIDC area in Navi Mumbai today. A plume of thick black smoke was seen emerging from the Chemco Resins Private Limited. 10 fire tenders from the Mumbai Fire Brigade reached the spot to assist the firefighting. Maharashtra State Road Transport Corporation employees went on a strike from midnight on Tuesday, demanding a salary hike. The strike has added to the problems of travellers who had reserved tickets. The strike left many passengers stranded at the bus depot, especially when the festivals are in fact around the corner. RSS leader Ravindra Gosai was shot dead by unidentified men on a motorcycle in Ludhiana's Kailash Nagar. The incident took place in Gagandeep colony of Ludhiana near Gosai's house, where he was returning from the RSS branch. Gosai was 58 years old and died on the spot. A quick break here. Up next, we'll get you all the international news.
Bringing in the bureaucrats was also a message to the outgoing people that, look, if you don't perform, we can get in the bureaucrats to do the job.
Everybody has to perform, and if somebody doesn't perform, he's out. And that applies also equally to us who are now being brought in from the bureaucracy.
The Christians normally have remained quite wary of BJP and, its objectives. How are you really going to bridge that trust deficit?
We need somebody with the backbone to manage India.
Political violence in Kerala is also some kind of a symptom of a political intolerance.
There's a huge space for development politics. I mean, this is what we focus on. We are kind of painted in your media as being right.
Watch To The Point with Union Tourism Minister KJ Alphonse only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Now, at least 32 people were killed and more than 200 injured in a suicide and gun attack on police in the eastern Afghan city of Gardez on Tuesday. The attack targeted a police training center attached to the headquarters in Gardez, the capital of Patkia province. The victims included women, students and police. The Interior Ministry said that the local police chief is among those dead. Meanwhile, at least 6 attackers were killed by security forces in the gunfighting, which went on for several hours. The Taliban has claimed responsibility for the attack. Officials said that the death toll is expected to rise. The compound at Gardez in the province houses the headquarters of the National Police, the Border Police and the Afghan National Army. In more international news, the United States has not ruled out the possibility of direct talks with North Korea. Stating this, United States Deputy Secretary of State John J. Sullivan said that eventually the U.S. may hold direct talks with North Korea. He also said that the U.S. and its allies must be prepared, though, for the worst in case diplomacy fails. Sullivan's comments came after he held a briefing with his Japanese counterpart, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs Shinsuke Sugiyama, in Tokyo earlier on Tuesday. The visit comes ahead of an expected trip to the region by President Donald Trump next month amid rising concerns over North Korea's nuclear and missile tests.
Eventually, we don't rule out the possibility, of course, of direct talks, but our focus now is on diplomacy, and that diplomacy is principally the pressure campaign. We must, however, with our allies in Japan and South Korea and elsewhere, to be prepared for the worst should diplomacy fail.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has asked former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton to run against him in the 2020 presidential elections. Trump registered a shocking win over Clinton, who was the Democratic candidate in the 2016 presidential elections. Clinton in recent months has attributed external factors for her defeat, while Trump claimed that she was a weak candidate. He also slammed Clinton for defending NFL players who kneeled during the national anthem. Trump said Clinton was resorting to excuses by blaming Russia for her defeat.
Hillary, please run again. Go ahead.
So she's at odds with you over whether or not this is disrespecting the flag. Is she right or is she wrong?
I think she's wrong. Look, when they take a knee, there's plenty of time to do knees and there's plenty of time to do lots of other things. But when you take a knee, well, that's why she lost the election. I mean, honestly, it's that thinking that is the reason she lost the election. When you go down and take a knee or any other way, you're sitting, essentially, for our great national anthem. You're disrespecting our flag, and you're disrespecting our country. And the NFL should have suspended some of these players for one game.
Now, amid the worsening political crisis in Catalonia, Spain arrested two of Catalonia's biggest separatist activists. Barcelona erupted in protests after the arrests, with Catalan President Carles Puigdemont and his cabinet staging a walkout at the regional parliament. Spain has extended its deadline till Thursday, after which it said that Article 155 will be triggered.
Catalan President Carles Puigdemont and members of his regional cabinet staging a walkout to protest against the arrest of Catalan activists by the Spanish government. Puigdemont also took to Twitter to protest against the Spanish government's move. He chaired a regional cabinet meeting earlier in the day after Spain jailed heads of the pro-independence groups in the Catalan National Assembly, Jordi Sánchez and Òmnium's Jordi Cuixart, for alleged sedition.
Lamentablement, la decisió de la jutgessa ha estat privar-nos de llibertat. És un acte que no respon a cap principi de justícia. És un acte que el que fa és intentar atemorir-nos, castigar-nos, per haver defensat la llibertat i per haver sortit al carrer pacíficament, com fa tant temps que fem.
The arrest triggered protests in Barcelona. Hundreds of supporters gathered outside the Catalan government headquarters on Monday night. Chanting freedom slogans and waving democracy banners.
Pues me parece muy mal porque lo veo una forma de represión, de censurar la libertad de expresión enorme y es un encarcelamiento político que no se puede permitir.
El gobierno español toma unas medidas que son ilegales, directamente ilegales, con lo cual no hay otra alternativa, la independencia.
In a tough measure, the Madrid High Court also banned Catalan Police Chief Josep Luis Trapero from leaving Spain and seized his passport. Spain moved closer to imposing central rule over Catalonia to thwart its independence attempt after Catalan President Puigdemont failed to clarify on Monday if he had declared independence unilaterally. Instead, in a letter, Puigdemont made what he called a sincere and honest offer for dialogue over the next 2 months. Spain has given another deadline to Puigdemont to respond till Thursday 10 a.m., after which Article 155 will be triggered, which authorizes Spain to impose direct rule on any of the country's 17 autonomous communities if they break the law. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here are some more updates from across the world in Global Buzz. Thousands of Rohingya refugees crossed the border into Bangladesh from Myanmar on Monday, fleeing hunger and attacks by Buddhist mobs that the United Nations called ethnic cleansing. Many Rohingyas entered Bangladesh near the Palongkhali village. Many were injured, with the elderly being carried on makeshift stretchers while women balanced household items. The Filipino army killed 2 leaders of different terrorist groups on Monday, claiming a big win for the conflict in Marawi. Philippines' military chief of staff had said that the head of the Abu Sayyaf group in Silion Hapilon and the leader of the Maute group, Omar Khayyam Maute, was shot dead in a raid on Monday. Three people were killed as Tropical Storm Ophelia battled Ireland's southern coast on Monday. The storm knocked down trees, power lines and whipped up 10-meter waves. Over 360,000 homes and businesses were left without electricity. Ireland's Electricity Supply Board said that it is an unprecedented event that would affect every part of the country for days. And finally, let's get you all the updates from the world of sports now. Germany and United States reached the quarterfinals of the FIFA Under-17 World Cup after winning the round of 16 encounters. Germany beat Colombia 4-0. And star striker Jan Fiat-Arp struck twice to take his side to the quarterfinals. In the second pre-quarter encounter, the US defeated Paraguay 5-0. In the second day-night international in Abu Dhabi, Pakistan beat Sri Lanka by 32 runs. Babar Azam scored his second 100 in a row, while Shadab Khan gave his career-best bowling and batting performance to help Pakistan beat Sri Lanka. While Azam scored 133 runs off 103 balls, Shadab scored 52 not out to lift Pakistan from a struggling 79 for 5. Shadab also took 3 wickets for 47 to dismiss Sri Lanka for 187 all out in 48 overs. Sri Lanka will play at a T20 match in Lahore this month, despite security apprehensions by many of the players. The board meeting in Colombo on Monday decided to go ahead with the match after players wrote to the board to consider changing the venue of the match. That's it on the News at 6. Thank you for joining us.